Ambassador Factor.
What's up, all my movie-loving maniacs? It's your boy Bankful B of The Last of the Factor, and with the release of Wolfman coming out this weekend, I wanted to revisit another film, which is also directed by the same director, Lee Whannell, and also part of the MonsterVerse movie that is under Blumhouse and Universal, and that is The Invisible Man, which came out in 2020. I have not seen it since then, so let's review. So, The Invisible Man is basically a new telling of the character, the Invisible Man, in which you have Elizabeth Moss's character. She tries to get out of an abusive relationship, and she does, but then eventually she ends up getting stalked and terrorized by that same person, and he is invisible, and she's going crazy. She's trying to tell everybody, and then she eventually finds a way to defeat him. Now, when I saw it back in 2020 in the theater, and it was definitely a couple of months before the pandemic, I remember liking it, but haven't revisited ever since. And revisiting again, I still like it, but don't quite love it. In fact, some things stand out to be more than it did back then. Like, for example, you have this cool technology that makes you invisible, and all you want to do is just stalk and terrorize a woman. Come on now, there's so much more you can do with this. But regardless, I still think this is a well made film. And like I said, this is directed by Lee Whannell, who prior to this movie made Upgrade, which is a movie I thought was quite entertaining. And this movie does have something to say about abuse and what that does to a person mentally. And I've always admired how this movie balances out different genres from horror, action, and noir, especially in the last half of the movie. And Elizabeth Moss is definitely the heart of this movie. I mean, she definitely goes through a journey because she's able to get out of that abusive relationship and she finds some peace for a little while, and then he comes back into her life and she doesn't know what's happening, and she's trying to tell everybody, like, no, it's this person, and everybody does not believe her. She thinks she's going crazy, and then it turns out she's not, and so she's doing everything she can to stop it, and then she eventually defeats him in the end. And the effects used to bring this movie to life is also amazing in itself because it really does look like a person is just finding that is invisible and you can't see them. And like, for example, in the beginning of the movie, when she's in the kitchen and she leaves the kitchen for a little bit, and then he comes in there and just sets the stove up a little bit high and the house almost catches fire. It's just little techniques like that I appreciate. Now, this movie did come out at a time when Universal, they did try to start their own cinematic universe with Universal Monsters, the Dark Universe, but that failed real quickly. And so they went to Blumhouse and he tried a different approach, which is just make standalone movies about these different monsters. And this was an excellent start for standalone movies about these Universal monsters. And now we got Wolfman on the way, and The Invisible Man is just good on itself. It doesn't need to connect anything. It told a story from beginning to end. It did what it needed to do. I don't remember what rating I give this movie. I think I gave it the hard eyes emoji, and if I did, I'm just boiling it down a little bit because, like I said, there are things that stood out to me more than it did back then, and it just brought the movie down. But I still think that this is an entertaining film. It's still a well-made movie, and if you have not seen it, I highly recommend it. If you have seen it, let me know what you think in the comments section below. I'm gonna give The Invisible Man the thumbs up emoji. This your boy Bankful B of The Last of the Factor. Stay safe, wash your hands, peace.